Hello，云同桌们，大家好，欢迎回来。我们继续学
Now
习
I'm going
第
to
一
have Nikki
课。
come back up again, and we'll go
现
over
在 Nico
another
开始跟
important
大家
thing that
介
we'll be
绍
working with,
收
which
获
is the
本，
Gaines book.
这也是很多新手非常容易忽略掉的一
We'll
个
be
问
using the
题。
Gaines book
收
a
获本
lot
非常重
over the
要。
next 4 days
课
of
程
the
的后面也
class.
会提
And
到
all throughout the
一个
segments of
真
this
正的
day,
释放法
you'll
课
be
程的
have
毕
it
业生
handy.
是
You'll
要
be
把他
using
自
it a
己
lot.
这一本丰
What
富
it's
的收获
for
本
is
寄
to
回到他们的
validate
机
your
构。为什么要
progress.
这么做呢？
You'll
因为
find
收
that
获
as
本
you
上的记
begin
录
to
才
use the
是真正
technique
属于你
and you'll
自己
have
的
these
释放
wonderful
经历，
gains,
这
you're
才
going to want
是
to
真
write
正
them
属于你
down.
自己的
A
释放
gain
收获。
is
这个
when
记录
you now
对
feel
鼓励
good,
你自己继续
when
前进，
before you
并
were feeling
且
bad.
及时做一些
It's
总
really
结，
very
或者对
simple.
自己的鼓
But
舞都有
one
非
of the
常重
things
要
that
的
we
意
do
义。
in our everyday life is
所以
really
也请大家
to
现在准备好
associate with the
一个
negative.
小本本，
We're very hard on ourselves.
及时
We
将
always
自己
look
的
at the
收获
bad
记录
things
下
we
来。
do and not the good. This is going to help you to change that habit. It's going to help you to turn it around and instead start associating with those good things. It's really going to support you in your use of the technique. We also have a tendency to not really be able to see for ourselves how much we're growing or how well we're really doing. So this is really going to validate your progress. It's going to be a very important record for you to have as to your releasing. In fact, you'll look at this book in 3 months' time and you'll be amazed as to really what you've already let go of, how your life has already changed dramatically. The other thing it's going to do is it's small for a reason. It's small so you can carry it around in your pocket or your purse because it's going to serve as a reminder for you to release. You'll just see it in your pocket or you'll see it in your bag and you'll remember to use the technique. And that's going to help you enormously also. Gains don't always just come in the form of you now feel good when before you felt bad either. You'll also notice that when you use it and you write down your gains, something else you'll be aware of is that you'll start to have insights about yourself. You'll start to have realizations about other people, about the way they are. And write those things down. Those things are really important too. They're key things for you. If somebody else tells you those things, you might listen for 5 or 10 minutes. Maybe you'll have forgotten it a day later. If you've discovered it for yourself, that means so much more.
Niki 这句话也很重要啊，他也说这个是属于你自己的领悟和收获，这将会深刻很多，所以真的很有必要把它及时记录下来。这边海尔已经开始在介绍我们平时几乎所有人对待情绪的处理方式。我们平时不是在做压抑情绪的事情，就是在通过情绪来驱动自己表达。只有这2种。压抑情绪常见的，比如说我现在去吃个东西啊，或者是玩会儿游戏啊，看个电影啊，这种所谓的转移注意力，其实就是在压抑情绪。大多数都表现为逃避情绪，不愿意去面对它。但释放的最大一个前提，就像上一个小节里面所说的，我们必须要诚实的、直接的面对自己当下最真实的情绪。否则的话，你就只是在释放自己的脑补，你并不是在释放自己真正的情绪。
Maybe a day later, someone will say something totally unrelated, and we'll explode at them, and we don't even know why. Or we'll think we've just made the most objective decision of our lifetime, only to discover the next day, oh my God, how could I have thought that? Again, that's because we are feeling suppressed, and every time a feeling is suppressed, it prevents us from seeing clearly and acting appropriately in the moment. Now, another way you might notice that you've suppressed a feeling is that you all of a sudden start to develop the symptoms of a stress-related illness. You thought everything was fine, you had it all handled, and all of a sudden your doctor tells you have an ulcer. Now, if you have an ulcer, not everything is all fine. There aren't too many people where everything's fine out there that have an ulcer. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having ulcers, but what I am saying is that when you start to, when you use your feelings and push them back down, when you suppress them, that's the worst thing that we can do with our feelings, and we are doing it all the time. Now, another way that people suppress the feelings when they aren't always aware that they're doing it is by escaping them. You know, suppression is when we do this. Escaping is like, well, I'll go out and have a drink. I'll watch television. I'll go out and play a hard game of handball. I'll do something to get away from the feeling. But the only reason we're getting away from it, now we have it back here. We're pretending it's not there. But really all we're doing is taking our attention off it long enough so we can push it back down. You're just really keeping it suppressed. Now the other thing that we do with our emotions a lot of the time, or some of the time, is that after we've been suppressing them for a long period of time, the pressure builds up. It's almost like a pressure cooker. And it builds up, and it builds up, and you can't hold it in anymore, and then you express.
那么说到表达呢，大家最常见的可能就会想到，比如说哭泣、发怒、发火。
That's expression. When you take the feeling and you put it into action. Instead of pushing it back down, you let off a little steam and you throw it at someone. That's expression. Now that might feel temporarily better, but it really doesn't solve the underlying problem. The solution to the underlying problem is learning how to release.
但其实还有一种也是一种表达，那就是大家会忍不住问一大堆问题，和别人进行一大堆的讨论。其实这个也是属于情绪的表达，只是就像上一节说的，大家非常容易忽略掉问问题，它本身也是由情绪所驱动的。所以当你有问问题的这个倾向的时候，应该先回到自己的内在，到底有什么样的情绪驱动着我想要去跟别人问问题或讨论自己的问题。
That's what these whole 4 days and 8 tapes are about. You learning how to tap your natural ability to not do this, not do this, but learn how to do this. Learn how to let go in the moment of whatever feeling is bothering you. And everyone here, and those of you watching at home, have already had experiences of releasing. To give you an example of what it feels like, think back to the last time you had a really good belly laugh. You know how good that felt? In fact, what do you usually do when someone's feeling bad? You try to get them to laugh, you cheer them up, you try to make them feel better. Well, what's happening there is very often when you laugh, it's the external manifestation of a release happening. Now what we'll be doing here is we'll be showing you how to get that same internal result, tap that same natural ability without ever needing to smile. Now you might find yourself laughing quite a bit as you use this technique, and you might not. In fact, some of the biggest releases are totally silent.
请大家记住这句话，一些强大的释放是完全无声的，这很重要。就像上一节有说到海尔的一位学员，他觉得自己好像从来没有体验过释放，但是呢，困扰了他这么多年的失眠，突然就好了。所以有时候大家不要太过于强调释放是一种翻天覆地的或者是非常强烈的感觉，因为有时候它就是在悄无声息的不知不觉的就完成了。
One moment you're just feeling really upset, you catch yourself in that feeling, you use the technique, and it just dissolves. And you just feel your whole body relax. Sometimes you just start laughing hysterically. Because all of a sudden you realize what you've been doing.
这里说到的这一点也是非常的有意思，应该有一些人可以体会到了，那就是比如说有些人他可能对一些事情会感到非常的比如说尴尬，然后当他做了一定的释放之后，他就会觉得诶，怎么这么可笑呢？我为什么要为这种事情而感到尴尬呢？那么这个就是属于成功释放之后，你会觉得一切都变得很轻松、很平静、很自然的能够去面对。
It's totally ridiculous. However the release manifests, just allow it to happen. So rather than let's talk about it some more, why don't we just get right into action? So who has a feeling they'd like to let go of? Now those of you at home, you'll get your opportunity to release as well. But what I'd like you to do now is just follow along as I work with the people here in the group. Also, what we'll be doing throughout these 8 tapes is we'll occasionally be watching people here releasing, and we've also videotaped quite a few other classes in order to bring to you the best examples of what releasing can be like, and also the best examples that are most demonstrative of how you can start using the technique. So just sit back and you'll have your chance to release as well. And also practice along with the people here. Those of you here, I'd like you to do the same thing. Practice along as I start leading people through the process. The more you practice as others are releasing, the faster you'll get a hold of this new technique to use for yourself. So who has a feeling they'd like to let go of?
那么我们这里就正式跟随指导员开始做第一次释放了。但是我觉得有必要做一个很重要的补充，很多人都有过同样的提问，那就是我怕我找不准感觉，我定位的情绪定位不对，是错的怎么办？那这里我想给一个非常明确的答复，那就是我们所有的负面情绪也一共就只有6种而已，而且大部分时候几乎99%的人都是在处于下3道的状态里，无非就是 AGF。关于这一点可不是我这么说的啊，因为在莱斯特演讲的音频里，包括之前我所分享的丰谈6步骤里面都有提到，因为大部分人已经非常习惯于压抑情绪了，很多时候我们所谓的感觉不到自己的情绪，是因为我们已经处在非常非常麻木的状态。这就是为什么莱斯特先生说绝大部分的人都是处于万念俱灰的状态里面。大家可以看一下情绪表里面关于万念俱灰有哪些更加表面的浅显的情绪，就能够明白这种感觉了。不管你能不能接受这个观点呢，不妨先去体会一下，试试看，去做一个情绪的释放，你就能够明白莱斯特先生为什么这么说了。所以我的意思是，负面情绪的6大类一共也就只有6种，你每一个都试一下，去感觉一下，错也只能错5次而已，并不会浪费你多少时间。但即便是做错了，至少你还是在更加熟悉、体验更多次的这个释放流程本身。错又能够错到哪里去呢？对吧？那么，请大家现在打开纸质版的情绪表，定位自己当下最明显、最强烈的感觉。所谓最明显、最强烈的感觉，那就是最表面的感觉。我们就像剥洋葱一样，你只可能先从最外面的一层开始剥起，你没有办法隔靴搔痒，剥到里面的那一层，对吧？
How about a little bit of fear?
Okay, you feel some fear? Okay.
Uneasiness, maybe.
What?
Uneasiness?
Yes, well, that's a fear feeling, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So now just allow yourself to feel it for a moment.
Okay.
Could you let it go? Could you?
Maybe for a minute.
Okay. We would just let go a little bit. Would you? Let it go?
Okay.
When?
Hmm?
When?
Okay, I'm trying to let it go now.
Okay, good. All right, just go back to the feeling. Do you still feel, just feel the rest of the fear. Can you still feel some fear?
Some uneasiness.
Okay, so just let yourself feel it. Could you let it go? Could you?
Yes.
Would you?
Yes.
When?
Now?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, go back to, how do you feel now? Do you feel a little lighter?
Not as uneasy.
Yeah, okay, but there's still some uneasiness, which is a fear feeling, right? So just let yourself feel the fear. Okay, could you let it go? Could you?
Yes.
Would you?
Yes.
When?
Now?
Okay, good. All right, how does it feel now? Is there still a little bit of fear left?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, just feel the remaining fear. Could you let it go?
Yes.
Would you?
Yes. just went away. I did. I felt it go away.
Great. Okay. So how do you feel now?
Better.
We keep talking about letting go. How do you do that? Well, it's very simple. If you would all just pick up a pencil or a pen, and those of you at home, I'd like you to join me on this too, and just hold it out in front of you for a minute. First of all, I want you to know that you certainly know how to hold on to the pen or pencil. That's very easy. We're all very good at that. And we've also gotten very good at holding on to our feelings. Now, in fact, we've gotten so good at it, we forget that we can just do this. Just let it go. Again, let it go. That's what we're talking about when we say let go of a feeling. It's that simple.
这里再补充一点，刚才海尔在用掉落铅笔的方式让大家去体验释放是多么的轻松不费力。关于这一点，大家可以去复习一下我之前有好几个视频在讲释放是如何发生的，大家可以去找着看一下。也就是说，情绪它作为一种能量，能量本身是流动的，能量永远都不是死的，否则的话就不存在能量，不存在我们这个宇宙了。能量是鲜活的，是无时无刻不在流动的。当我们去压抑能量的时候，那也就意味着这个能量有多大，我们就要用更大的能量、力量去把它压抑到我们自己的这个心里面。所以，释放确实是非常简单的，因为你需要做的仅仅是允许它离开，仅仅是放手而已。否则的话，你就是一直在用比这个情绪能量本身更大的力量在紧紧地抓住它。
Now I know it might be a little hard to accept that at first, because what we usually do is we think that the pencil is glued to our palm. You know, we usually feel like our feelings have us. It isn't true. Every feeling is something that we are in control of if we're willing to take control. You can realize that you're holding on to it, and you always have the choice of letting it go. So that's something to remember as you're working with the process, or if you ever feel like you're getting a little stuck, remember you're the one holding on to the feeling. It's your feeling, no one else's, and you can let it go.